Hello, this is teamscrubout here. We are doing a deck profile at locals that got, what place do you got? Fifth, sadly. Because our judge messed up.
Pairing issues?
Yeah, so he might could have gone third.
Yeah.
So, let's go into the deck profile.
So I was playing Zefra because I had all the Pendulum Magician stuff and didn't want to play it after the ban list. Also, I was kind of just sick of the deck. So I played the next best thing. So first, Cerberus, because it gets you into Jackal for your free negate, gets Electromite. Still amazing in any Pendulum deck. Then, Supreme King Engine. I only played 2 Worm because of mostly just space. Also playing more of the spells, because generally you don't want to draw it, you would much rather see it get sent. But I didn't want to only play 1 and draw it and then have a brick in my hand.
Yeah.
Because I have another target for it, but if I'm trying to go for Electromite, I still want to make sure I have it. Then Destrudo. Didn't use it all day, partially just citing it out for time. Also, I never drew it, and whenever I drew Shrines or Foolishes, I just sent Worm to the grave.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't make Electromite without it. It's good just because it gets you your 7s, link material, whatever. Then 3 Chrono and Brick, because again, Electromite as well. It's good to make Naruto, not that I ever did, because you can make it with a Chrono and a Jackal. You just don't normally want to, because I mean, depending on the deck, you might just want the monster negate instead of the other one. Then into the Zefras. Best Zefra card, Zefrath.
Yeah.
High, low scales. It's a medium scale if you really wanted to not send anything or you didn't have a target.
Yep.
Never use its monster effect. Its monster effect is rubbish. Having 3 Zefras on the field for its effect is really difficult anyways.
But if you can get off, it should be.
But even if you do, it's not worth it because it'll destroy all your non-Zefra monsters.
Oh.
So it's pretty not good. We just use it because it gives us high scales, gives you...
And low scales.
Yeah, if you need low scale. But most importantly, it gives you Zefra Neo.
The best.
The second best Zefra. The best Zefra is a monster just because, if nothing else, it searches all your spells and traps. You can search Providences to load up Jackals. Search your negates. Search Oracles if you need monsters, whatever.
Yep.
It's also great because when you use it with Divine Strike, or not Divine Strike, 9 Pillars, you get to search on your turn still, so you get to search again. Then into the Zefra one-ofs. One's a Fraxi. Really useful just because it lets you get into like level 7s. So if nothing else, what I did, the one time it came up was I used this to go into Meteor Burst against Sky Striker to special Jackal from Scale, because it was there because I had nothing else to put there.
Nice.
Then Zephyr Wendy.
Hey, ritual base players don't play this.
It's because it's not good for ritual base, but for us it's amazing because you get to add one from extra. So like in a grind game, it gets you just another one to hand. That way with Master Rule 4 you don't have to worry about them all in extra. You can even add Zefrath back if you need it. Also you can special it off of E-Telly to get into Electromite. Then Tellers. High scale, low scale. Pops. One pops face up, the other pops face down. So it's a good way of clearing the board. They're level 4, so you can get into like Abyss Dweller, or I went into Tornado with it and Darkworm. Also just, you can banish them for stuff like Divine Strike and not really feel bad.
Yeah.
And you only need one of all of these just because with 3 Oracle and 3 Providence as well as Zefrath, they're super searchable.
And the Shadows and Necros are just garbage.
Yeah, they're just terrible. They don't do anything, so there's no point in running them. Then hand traps, 3 Droll.
Yeah.
Best hand trap of the format. Because
Yes,
it pretty much counters every meta deck except Altergeist, in which case it's kind of trash.
Kind of like Goki's. Goki's sometimes can play through it.
Sometimes, but it's really good just because after the first chain, especially if they're not smart enough to search rematch, then they can't do anything.
Yeah.
Then 1 Ogre. I drew it a few times, and it was pretty good because it stopped multi-roll in a super long game against Sky Striker. It can also be good because you can stop protocol. You can stop light stage targeting your sets, targeting like one of your negates. That way you don't just lose it on nothing.
Yeah.
Also, you can. One thing I did against Altergeist is you summon this off of E-Telly in defense. That way, if they try to protocol you at all, they just can't because you just pop it. You can also stop spoofing that way.
Yep.
That's all the monsters. We don't play a lot of hand traps in the main because we're trying to blind first, and just room.
And Ash.
Yeah.
Ash is
Then
all the good hand traps are always expensive.
yeah. Then to get into our Dark Worms or Destrudo, 3 Shrine, a Foolish, so just completely maxing out. You never really use the Foolish except for as the same as the Dragon Shrine. Unlike Magicians, we don't really have any other extra targets.
Yeah.
But if nothing else, this gets us a low scale, or it can get us Destrudo to set up stuff like Vortex. Not that it came out today. 4 rounds is kind of short, so it's whatever. Then E-Telly. Either summon the Zefra that's a Ritual Beast to go into Electromite easy, or the Ogre play.
Yep.
Or if nothing else, it's an easy side out or discard with like Twin Twisters from the side. Or you, if nothing else, you can just set it and then hope like a light stage hits that instead of one of your negates. 3 Oracle. If nothing else, it just rotas for all your Zefra monsters.
And get bonus effects.
The other effects are nice. The ritual one, you don't play any rituals or fusions, so it never comes up. The XYZ and Synchro aren't bad. They're just not, you don't use them as much a lot of the times just because, even, 1, you have to have this obviously, and then 2, you're just not necessarily going into a lot of XYZs or Synchros with Zefra. If you do, it's good because you can put a card on top, but
yeah, just in case stuff happens.
Yeah, it's more of a extra effect, but if nothing else, it's just a good consistency card.
Yeah.
Then our better search card, Providence,
The best.
because unlike Oracle, which only searches monsters, this searches all of our Zefra cards, and it has the protection effect, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Because if nothing else, a lot of times you go first, you search this off of Zefra Neo, activate it, get Jackal a counter. Then after you've given Jackal a counter, it'll be engraved to protect like a Zephyrath on your turn.
Yeah, your scales and all that.
And it makes it to where Jackal auto has the negate. Also, one thing you can do is if you have a chronograph in hand and destroy something, you can special Jackal before you go into Electromite, then use that to get a counter to protect from hand traps.
Yep.
Then our 3 good traps. Popper helped me out Borreload, which was amazing because that's one of the very few outs since monsters can't target it.
Yeah.
And we're not playing a lightning package. Then our 2 negates. Normally this is, it really depends because since you can't search this off of Providence, you can't set up Jackal with it, but at the same time, since it destroys the Zefra Neo, you get the search.
Yeah.
Also strike banishes, and you have to have 1 extra. So if nothing else, what came up several times, all I would have is a Neo. You just set both, use this first, put the Neo in extra, then banish it when you use the negate again.
Yeah.
It's also why I like Zefra over Magicians, because you have more main deck negates than Jackal. So if you get your Electromite killed, Reaper, whatever, it's not that big a deal.
Alright, let's go into Jackal side deck.
Your
Your
side
choice.
doesn't really matter. 3 Veiler for going second.
Yeah, that was kind of strong.
Yeah.
Against this meta.
It's mostly just I don't have impermanences because that's still a little bit better.
Yeah. But it just depends on the situation, which one is better.
Yeah. If nothing else, though, you can stop like Red from getting back engaged, stop Goki from extra linking you.
Yeah.
Heck, you can even stop a Cantina search. Then our other 2 ogres. It's not great this format. I would definitely replace with Ashes if I had it, but it's still really good against certain
Against
certain matchups. It's still really good. And if nothing else, you can stop like Firewall, and you won't get extra linked by Goki most of the time.
Yeah.
Then Lava Golems for going second again to break extra links.
And maybe don't use your normal summon, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you don't need. I mean, it's a pendulum deck, so most of the time your normal summon isn't that important. Because even if it means you can't go into Electromite without pendulum summoning, you'd still rather just get rid of all the resources and threats and negates.
Yep.
Then 2 shared ride. Don't have a 3rd.
Meta.
I mean, yeah, it's just good against countering the meta. The one time I saw it when I put it in was against Sebastian with Trickstar. Saw both opening, which is a pain just because it's once per turn. So it meant I couldn't set up a good board going first. Still got me 2 or 3 cards though, which is nice.
I think if I stop it, I would have just lost anyways. So.
Yeah, it's just maxi, but for searching, which is good. Then 3 twin for going second. Good because you can hit Altergeist, Widowmaker, Trickstar back row, whatever.
Yep.
If nothing else, you can clear stuff like Solemns. That way they don't just straight up negate your Pendulum Summon. Because if they do, you kind of just lose. Then 3 Mind Crush.
Be a meta, be like engages and.
It's amazing. It's
stars.
yeah, you can hit Candina, you can hit Engage. I mean, every deck searches, so you can just hit whatever they search.
And Pendulums.
Yeah, you can also just stop Multi-Faker in hand, or Kinkiri against Altergeist. So you don't even have to know what they have in hand, you just chain it to when they do it.
Yeah, Mind Control is. Mind Crush is a good meta card.
Like, I put it in, never saw it sadly, but still really good.
There's a lot of cards that come in and out in the formats.
Yeah. So let's see, extra deck. 2 Electromite. Don't really need a third. 2 only came up like once or twice in longer games. There were a lot of games I didn't even need them, just because by the nature of Zefra, it has a really strong main deck.
Yeah.
So if nothing else, there was a lot of times I bricked, couldn't make this first turn, but would still have a hand trap, then one of my trap negates, and that got me grinding enough, stalling out, that I could just win. That's how I beat Sky Striker. Then Metaltron. I mean, it's a Zephyr card, which is nice because you can use it with stuff like War. You can protect it with Providence, all that.
Yeah.
And then if nothing else, you can just... No, most of the time I didn't really use it the first turn after a Pendulum Summon. But if on my turn I had a monster from Extra and Electromite still, just use Electromite's effect. If nothing else, destroy something, add the same card to draw. Then just go into Metaltron to get the Pendulum 3 instead of 2.
Yep.
Borla, just a good card. If nothing else, it was nice against Sky Striker because he didn't have a Widow Anchor. So I just took his blue rather than killing it and let him Ray Diablos. Because I couldn't make Dweller, that was the plan, but I just couldn't.
Yeah.
Horus.
Good card.
If nothing else, you gotta take a monster from your opponent, which is always nice. Dawn Dragster, Spell Trap Negate.
Yep.
It doesn't come up all that much just because you're not running a ton of tuners. Normally it's a Fraxi plus whatever your hand traps are. But if nothing else, like if you're in a matchup where Ogre is bad, you just take this and any 4, and you have a Spell Trap Negate. Meteor Burst, because we like our odd eyes.
Yeah, odd eyes are.
So if nothing else, you just either use Destrudo or anything really. Make Meteor Burst, you special summon Gate 0 from Scale. After you've Pendulum Summoned, then overlay it on this. That's when you go into Metaltron, go into Vortex.
Yeah.
I just never could do it because of what I drew. But if you pull it off, it's really good because Vortex is still one of the best negates. Because unlike your counter traps, you can reuse it and it's a monster. It's the best negate besides the counter traps. Yazi, out problem cards. I just didn't go into my synchros a lot today because it just wasn't necessary.
And the hands.
Yeah. Chow Feng. Now this...
That's a good card.
It's a really weird... It's weird because when you're only playing Zefra Neo and Zefraxia, you're only playing Earth Yang Zings. So for the most part, it's not useful. Except if you go first against Goki, which I didn't, you just make this, now other Earth effects can't trigger, so Goki does nothing.
Yeah.
And even if they do kill it, you're still just going to get
if you
stuff
can
with
make
it.
it into like everything in the meta it's gonna be broken.
Also, if this destroys a Goki, it special summons an Earth Yang Zing, so you get more Zephyr Neos, which just 3 pluses. Dweller and Tornado.
Yeah.
Made Tornado just because it's good to have the quick removal. I was gonna make Dweller as a way to counter Sky Striker to stop Ray, but I got hand trapped out of it with Ogre hitting Zefrath.
Yeah. Joey's alright.
Then Rito and Strike Bouncer. I made Strike Bouncer, didn't get to use its effect because it's died. And Rito's in a weird spot at the moment because before with Astro you could just destroy Chrono, search another one, and overlay them.
Yeah.
Whereas now you either need to draw multiple... There's a few things you can do. You can draw a Chrono, then put one in extra with Electromite, but...
Yeah, this issue.
It's alright,
I'm
just...
trying to make it.
If nothing else, you're always trying to make multiple negates going first, so these both help toolbox into them.
Yep. anything else?
No,
Shout
that's all.
outs.
Nope.
Like,
I think shout out to Steven Torres for being a scrub, going 2-2.
2-2. Well, that's all. Like or dislike, comment below what your thoughts on this deck buff, or what what's being better, or other stuff that is expensive, that cheap eating aside.
Yeah, playing on a budget.
Yeah, subscribe to Team Scrubout and see you guys next time. And always have a nice day, basically.